Let's not drop the gauge though. Hey guys, Happy New Year. I hope you had a really good Christmas and a fun New Year. Anyway, just a little update again. Just a little update again. As you can see, I am just working on the dash cluster. Made the little doodahs to fill in there, and they are sitting in there nicely. Now trying to figure out what to do. Now, these slots here, they contain various warning bulbs, but I don't use any of them. The only one that's going to get used is, I don't know if you can see through that, they're all actually blanked out except for the fog lights. So what I'm going to do is, I'm thinking about just blanking those in and just taking it from there, but I'm torn now. The gauge, obviously that's it there, that's the fuel gauge, but I'm just using that. This is the correct size hole saw for the gauge. Now, got two possibilities. Either I centralise it there, which I don't know if you can see, means cutting into that plastic, or I move him up and cut it there, which is going to leave like a gap either side. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do. I think doing it that way is going to be the tidier of the two, mainly because I'm going to have jagged edges here that I then have to dress and mess about with. So I think I've just answered my own question there. So I'm probably going to put the gauge in there. The other thing that I may do is do have these. Now, just basically cut a piece of plastic that'll sit over there, then it'll cover that entirely. Don't know yet. So this is where I'm at right now, just trying to figure it out. Option 3 is, I think I may have a hole saw bigger than that one but smaller than that, and I may be able to just cut a piece that will then just sit nicely into there, so it'll bring it up flush. Because basically if I cut a hole right here now, the gauge is gonna, that's the gauge, it'll actually sit kinda, I mean that's exaggerated, but it'll sit tilted because this edge will be higher. So yeah, I might have a bit play around, see if I can actually make a piece to sit in there. So I'll be back. Okay, so we've got one done, and that will sit nicely into there. Obviously it's got to be cleaned up and painted, but yeah, I like that. And it's now started to rain. Wonderful. Okay, they are now sitting in there nicely. I will let that glue dry, and then I will give it a coat of plastic primer and some flat black. Okay, these are now nice and dry. I've had about 30 minutes to sit there. It stopped raining, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to actually drill the holes and mount the gauges. Then, if everything works out okay, take them out again and paint it. Hey! Well, there we go. First hole drilled, and gauge fits in there nicely. Excellent. Just got to repeat that on that side now. Hey, very happy with this. Let's not drop the gauge though. There we have the second hole drilled. Obviously I've got to clean this all up, but yeah. So I'll just drop a gauge into there and make sure that it actually works, fits, which it should because it's identical to the other one. Yes, there we go. Fantastic. Okay, let's get this all cleaned up and we can get it primed and painted. Okay, there we are. Now I'm just going to leave that to dry, and then I think I'm probably going to tackle the actual heater controls on the dashboard. I did bring the old ones over with me, so yeah, have a bit mess about with that. Then what I'll do is I'll drop the gauges in. One thing I'm not going to do though, I am not going to bond the actual outer glass back on yet, because I want the gauges installed, wired up, and ensure everything's working correctly before I actually glue it all back together. So yeah, let's get on. Okay, my idea with this is, if you look on the back there, see that nice deep doodah, whichever you want to call it. Now, what I am looking at the possibility of doing, if I can cut that out nice and neatly, that will pop directly into there nicely. Now obviously I'll have to cut it out in a circle, but yeah, you know what? Nah. But yeah, so that's that there into there. So now what I've got to do is figure out how I can cut this out. Okay, I have a plan. So here is the plan. What I've done is I've got a hole drilled in there. I'm going to sink the actual cutter in, and I want to line it up with this lower line here. So yeah, is it really a bad plan if it works? We'll find out. Oh, there we go. Obviously it still needs sorting out, but that should hopefully eventually pop into there. Yep. Okay, so I've got it roughly into place there at the moment. Obviously it needs to be countersunk further down, but yeah, it'll work there. The other location I thought about was up here, in there where the clock is, but yeah, I think this is the better one. So yeah, let's get to it. We are, colour's all funky, there we go. We are getting closer there. She's sitting in there nicely. I've got to take a little bit more of the bottom here, just to get it to sit more flush. But yeah, it's working out actually pretty damn good. I'm going to be happy with this one, I know I am. Yeah, we're getting close. This is not actually a perfectly circular, this is not a circular hole. So what I'm doing is I've got the grinder there with a flap disc in it, and I'm just taking little bits off here and there, and just getting it, because what I want is I want it to sink as far into there as possible, so when it's bonded, you know, it's not going to go anywhere. So yeah, and there we go, she's sitting in there nicely now. So just got to go around and clean all these edges up, but yeah. Fantastic! Well, there she is. I'll leave this overnight now to dry, and then what I'll do is I'll actually fill it from behind, and it'll make it nice and solid. One thing I didn't mention, I know I haven't painted it yet. I'll wait until it's all dry, everything's sealed up behind, it's all bonded and everything before I actually put any paint on it. But one thing I wished I did have, and I'll probably invest in it at some time, those actual plastic welding gun things, you know, where you can actually put the like the metal staples, they melt them into the plastic. Yeah, I think that'll be a good investment, that. But anyway, that's it for this. Just need to stick this to one side and then leave it till tomorrow. There we go. Now, it's not completely finished yet. There's some more finishing to do on this, but I can now actually take this back to the van when I head over to the shop in a few days, and begin getting this all wired in and, yeah, testing it out. But yeah, I am happy with that. What I want to do is see where these gaps are here. I want to fill those. What I'm probably going to do is, they're a bit more pronounced than I initially anticipated, so probably going to fill them, and then I'll smooth out the entire thing. And looks like it's just in time because it's starting to rain again. So yeah, I'm going to call it for there. And yeah, I know this is just a really short one again, but just the beginning of the year, and this is just some stuff I wanted to get done before I go back to the shop. So yeah, there we go. Have a good one, take care, and I will see you sometime.